Hello, YouTube. Ziploc back again. Um, question. People have been asking me on my blog. It's like, um, people ask me, man, why don't you read the comic book, Invincible anymore? Why you stop reading it? Here's the thing. Something happened in that comic around issue 60. I don't know. I think it was around 62, something like that. 63, 64, around that issue. Something happened in which I see happen in a lot of series, and once it happened, I just couldn't stand it, and I'm done reading it. That's something in this comic happened that I expect from Marvel and DC, and that thing is bringing the character back to life. Okay. Now everybody knows about the Conquest saga in the recent Conquest saga in the Invincible comic book by Robert Kirkman. Okay, now something very significant happened. This character Conquest, he's basically supposed to be like Superboy Prime, or if you're familiar with DBZ, he's supposed to be like Broly. He's like this guy who just likes to fight, and he likes to do it for the fun of it. He loves to fight, and he came to Earth. He said, Invincible, let's do this. So what happens is Invincible gets beat half to death. It's one of the most bloodiest fights I've seen in comic books like ever. And I'm thinking, oh man, I don't want this certain character to die, but she's gonna die. And what happens is Adam Eve, we all know who she is. If you read Invincible, she got plowed through her stomach area. Conquest, the character, he put his fist, he punched her so hard he punched a hole in her, right? So she dropped dead, and I'm like, yo, this is Invincible. Once characters die in here, they're pretty much dead. I'm like, man, this is one of the best things I've ever read. It's sad to see her go, and I hate to see her go, but she went out with honor by protecting her loved one, Mark Grayson, from Conquest. And then, at the end of the issue, Robert, he always writes like, I know you guys didn't want to see Adam and Eve go, but let's give it another issue, and I'll explain why she was killed off. And right there, I knew something was not gonna click right with me. Okay, next issue, we find out the character Adam Eve, she can heal. She can heal from a wound like that. So I'm like, here we go again. It's like, the typical same old shit I read in every other comic. When you kill a character off in the comic book, is it too hard to ask just to keep them dead? With this whole Captain America thing they got, it's like, they killed them off in Civil War, now he's coming back. And the same thing with Batman. We all know Batman's going to be back. But I didn't expect this from an independent comic like Invincible. This is why I like Invincible. It's kind of like a mix between Superman and Spider-Man. But this comic is bloody. There's some things that happen in here that you don't see in your normal, everyday Marvel and DC comics. Like it's really bloody, and the fights, they really mean something, because what they're used to, because when you kill a character off, they were usually dead. If they did come back, they would come back like as a zombie or from a different universe. And when he pulled that thing with Adam Eve, the whole, I can regenerate from being plowed through the stomach thing, I'm like, man, I know this is supposed to be like a archetype of different other comics. Like I said, Superman, it's got influences from Superman and Spider-Man, and and a little bit from DBZ if you want to go ahead and add that. But that really just turned me off, because one of the things I like about Image, their comics, like when they kill a character off, usually their characters are usually dead in the comic. They usually, once they're dead, they're dead. There's no coming back. There's no healing from, impossible wounds and, stuff like that. Except maybe Spawn, but Spawn is dead anyway, so he's like a zombie. So I can understand that. And Al Simmons is dead. He's gone. There's a new Hell Spawn. And Todd McFarlane said he didn't want to see Spawn ever again. I mean, Al, and we haven't seen him. But now, Image United is coming up, and they're gonna bring him back as a bad guy. I'm like, man, I don't come to Image and the independent companies to read this same old storyline I read in DC. I mean, in Marvel and DC, because that's one of the things that bugs me about comics, man. You gonna kill a character off, just make them stay dead. And that's another thing I don't like about these characters that can kind of heal, I mean, it's cool for Deadpool, Wolverine, and all of them, because, okay, that's cool. They can heal. They can come back. But it's like, in Invincible, I didn't expect that, man. It's like, it feels like a cop-out. Like, you couldn't think of anything better than just, she can heal. I mean, there's better ideas. That was like the perfect fight, man. That would have been a good death for her, And I thought it was just the perfect setup in the comic book I've seen in a long time. I haven't been that excited about a comic in a long time. So when I read that, I was just like, you know what? I think I'm done. I can pretty much predict what's gonna happen next. And when I can pretty much predict what's gonna happen in a comic in its next stage, I don't want to read it, because you take the suspense out of a comic book when you do that. It's like if I killed off an important character in my series that I made, and you guys are like, that was a good death, man. I really liked the way you did that. I didn't want that character to die, but they went out with honor. But then the next issue or so, or next chapter or so, I brought him back. You'd be like, yo, why are you bringing this character back? You just killed him off for nothing, basically. And that's the same thing that I felt, and that's really why I don't read Invincible anymore. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but it's just, if I hear good things about it and something like that, I might pick it back up. But for right now, I'm done with it, and it's basically the same old shit, different comic. I seen that done before. You could have came up with something better than that. I mean, that was a joke to me. That felt like a real insult. Like, man, wow, it was a stupid move. And these comic book creators, these writers, man, they need to start thinking about something more original, and stop, hitting people in the face with these same old cliche storylines and these same old moves. These characters. That's like the thing now. There's like a character in every series that can heal from being a head chopped off or something like that. It's like, man, I'm kind of sick of it. I don't know about you guys, but that's just a pet peeve of mine, and that's just the reason I stopped reading it. And you guys, if you read Invincible, the comic book, give me your thoughts on this, because that's just the way I feel, and I feel like I was kind of betrayed by that move, and it's a cop-out. It just feels that way, You hyped it up like she's gonna die, and then it turns out she can heal from any wound. It's like that reviewer said about Wolverine, the movie. If you make a character indestructible, then really, why should I care about them? If they can come back from anything, it's like you kind of take the danger factor out of it, It's like there's no suspense. It's like, I know he can heal from it, so okay, his head chopped off. wow, he's gonna come back from it anyway. So why even do that? You guys see, if you guys feel where I'm coming from, leave a comment or just leave a comment and tell me what you guys think about that. And all right, guys, you guys take it easy. Happy Halloween.